It's the foreheads. It's the foreheads. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI. It's the foreheads. It's the foreheads. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI. It's the foreheads. It's the foreheads. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the greatest disaster on the internet. It is Four Heads Podcast, baby. We're live. We're coming. Well, we're not live. I mean, we're live right now, person, but we're recording. But you know how it rolls. Anyway, boy, alongside with the one and only Bren and Sideshow, brand new casters for the Overwatch League. So proud.
Yeah.
And we have a returning face reinforced to the desk. What a year. Oh my God. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Justice.
We're all killing it.
The year of justice. You know?
The year,
The year
if
of
that's
Washington
true, I don't-
justice.
if it's
2020,
true, by the way,
The
just
year
saying.
of hooking and wilking.
Huh? No.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
Go on.
The
Hold
last
on a
names are
second.
Hook and Wilkinson. I don't know. I'm just.
So you're trying to
Oh,
make
hooking and-
verbs out
I'm
of
trying to
our
make yeah,
surnames.
verbs. Yeah.
I thought you were calling Bren a hooker.
I can't say.
I mean,
Yeah, well, that was the joke I was going for, and then I didn't get there, and I just went for fucking Peter Pan or some shit. I
You
don't
only
know.
have yourself to blame for that. First and foremost, just want to let everyone know, thank you so much for, if you're coming back, thank you for checking us out again. 2020 is going to be the year of the forehead.
Yeah.
So make sure you continue to subscribe to us on YouTube, rate and leave a review on iTunes. Also follow on Spotify. We want to hear from you. As you guys know, we like to read the reviews from the people who leave them, and we'll get into a few in a little bit. I mean, do we want to get into them right now, or?
Oh
do we
yeah,
wanna-
fuck it. Yeah.
All right,
let's
cool.
do it. Let's read
So-
some reviews of people that spent their Christmas writing reviews for us while we weren't even
So on-
broadcasting.
On December 24th, an
When was the
individual.
last episode we did? Oh, Lord knows. I thought like 2017. If I had to
December
guess.
13th, 2019. And the title was Word Test in Deserted Mansions.
Oh, yeah. We were just hanging out in the Philadelphia Fusion House.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
actually got a
yeah.
brand new deserted mansion that me and Bren are in right now. We're trying to make it less and less deserted as the days go on. But it started out that way.
So this review is from The Living Spirit. This was on Christmas Eve, by the way. And it said, this podcast played a pivotal role in the healing of my brain. Back in August, I suffered a minor concussion. I was
Oh.
told by my doctor to avoid any media of any kind that strains your eyes. Naturally, I went looking for podcasts when I stumbled upon The Foreheads. I was initially not too sold on it. Two Brits with virtually indistinguishable voices, a washed Overwatch pro turned analyst, and some boomer with a fixation on poop-related stories. Surely not talking about me.
I don't know who they're talking about.
It's Puckett. They surely couldn't make an interesting podcast, right? Wrong. As the vast wisdom of these four intellectual beings began to unfold before me, the synapses of my damaged brain began to fire with renewed vigor. My injured cranium swelled with newfound knowledge. I was remade by this perfect dichotomy of equal parts brilliance and Papega. What we really have here is a podcast of Joshua, quote unquote, Sideshow Wilkinson, the fast talking Brit forged in familial mockery into one of the sharpest minds in esports today. Brennan, quote unquote, Bren Hook, the Britomaker, the Brenji, the man unafraid to share an unpopular opinion and ready to back it with solid arguments. Alex, quote unquote, Goldenboy Mendez, national treasure. He missed the global icon, an iconic brainchild of esports and wrestling, and Johnny. Together they are the foreheads. Join them in meandering through topics entirely unrelated to their areas of expertise as they take you through enriching discussions wrought with brain-expanding brilliance, wheezing laughter, mental gymnastics brought on by raw papega, and the inevitable conclusion that all evil in this modern world stems from AI. This is the podcast you never knew you wanted. Nay, the podcast you never knew you needed. Hashtag eat the rich.
Wow. I mean, they summed up everything there, didn't they? They even got in the little dig on Johnny.
Bro, that's so good. And John, I didn't expect that. I was waiting for the quotes. I was like reading it as I was going along. That was good shit.
Oh, it's fucking mayhem, right? They're the origin of that meme. I hate it.
Yeah, the Florida Mayhem. They might do all right this year as well. You won't even be able to get your revenge on the desk.
So thank you so much. Make sure you leave a review, guys, if you want. We're reading in the next episode, which we will because we're back, baby. We are back.
It feels weird to be back.
It does.
I've just been on a pilgrimage for the
I was going to say, Eat, Pray, Love is a thing, and you just decided to do all of that. You dyed your hair and you went to Asia. You're living the LA life.
What is Eat, Pray, Love?
You never seen Eat, Pray, Love?
No, is it a movie?
I just accepted it, and I was like, I'm not going to ask.
It's that book about a lady who goes to India to try and find herself.
Oh, and she eats, she prays, and she loves.
Yeah, sure.
I definitely didn't find myself.
Too, but you didn't find yourself.
I did not find myself.
What did you find?
Well.
All right, let's start from the beginning. Where did you go first?
Went to Seoul.
Wait, can we just kind of set the idea of how ridiculous this trip even was to begin with? He knew that the Overwatch League had to get visas and had to get him back in order to do casting work on February 6th. That was when we were setting off. That was the Thursday in which we had to set off for the homestand. And so he booked a trip to Asia to return back on the 4th, the 5th?
Yeah, on the 4th.
On the 4th.
The crazy shit is you may not have been able to make it.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately the coronavirus pandemic that's going on right now. Dude, holy shit.
Let me give you the background. I went up to my boss, our boss, not you, Goldenboy, but three of our
Goldenboy
bosses.
doesn't have a boss other than Cynthia.
Damn right. Oh, show him my table. Go ahead.
But and I said to him, I want to go to Korea. I'm going to book a trip to Korea. What date should I book? And the answer I got was, I just book it. So I just booked it. I booked it for the 5th of January until the 4th of February. And I left the UK. I was in the UK for 2 to 3 weeks. It sucked. I couldn't wait to leave. I like seeing my friends and my family, but aside from that, the UK is, kind of shit.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun when I was over there. I enjoyed it. Where I live is beautiful. It's a little segment of paradise.
Yeah,
God's own country up in Yorkshire.
Come to Gloucester.
No.
and say that. So yeah.
Did you go to the grill?
I went to the grill many times, actually. Many times. It's as good as I remember it. The only good cuisine that you can find in Gloucester, really. Apart from the Nepalese chef, but we'll get into that another day. I left to go to Korea. And I was like, all right, cool. Immediately just kind of dunked into a completely different culture and world. And I had done no research on Korea whatsoever. I just went there. And I was like, I'm just going to figure this out. And I booked an Airbnb super last minute. And Jaws gave me some good advice. He told me how to get the transport card, which I didn't end up using until 5 days into my trip. Because I didn't know, I was too scared. I was too panicked to use the subway system. So I didn't want to use it.
So you walked everywhere for 5 days?
No. I got a taxi first to my place, and I had to kind of fucking do that thing where I showed him the thing on the map, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and then he took me there on a taxi. I got there. The Airbnb I booked was a 24-hour restaurant and bar called the Richard Copycat in Itaewon. And Itaewon is the region of Seoul that is just foreigner central because there used to be an American military base there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all Foreigner Central. And I go there and I go into this bar when it's packed with people because I just landed. And I'm like, oh yeah, Airbnb. And they're like, oh, which one are you? And they show me a piece of paper. I have to point to my name. And like, okay, follow me. And I go through the back stairs, up and around, walking up. I walk into what I feel like is about to be a scene out of Saw because we're walking into the basement of an apartment building. It's so I can't. How do I describe it? We walk out of the back of the restaurant, through the back of the restaurant, in an area where you're not really supposed to be, into the basement of an apartment that's uphill behind. The lights are flashing on and off, on and off like this, and I'm like, oh my fucking god! I'm like, am I gonna get murdered? I don't even know. But I drag my bag up and eventually get into my room. It's very nice, very lovely. But the trouble with drinking every day is,
Wait a minute. The trouble with drinking every day.
because
We'd only got to
get in
day
trouble.
one, and
I
now
get
we're
into
just
my
making the
apartment.
assumption that you got
Right.
hammered every day.
Yeah, I get into my apartment, I unpack. It's lovely. It's got a bed, it's got a shower, it's got a little kitchen which I never used, and it's fantastic. But I met up with Seth and Wolf and we're drinking, and I meet up with them the second day, we're drinking, and the third day, and we're drinking. And the trouble with literally consuming alcohol every day is that your mental health just goes woo, and all this shit I was doing to help my mental health, like going to the gym, eating healthily, I wasn't doing at all. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't eating healthily. So
Oh,
the things that
God.
normally mitigate this, that would allow me to just live this degen lifestyle, were not there. So my mental health just went foot down, straight down into the fucking gutter. And I don't know if you saw, I was posting sad boy tweets.
Yeah, you
all the
Bro.
fucking time. I was so depressed that first week that I was in Korea. So incredibly depressed. So depressed. I didn't leave my room for one day for 24 hours. I just slept for 24 hours in the dark of my room.
So for the first week, all you were doing was getting really drunk and being sad.
Yeah.
Sounds like one hell of a trip.
See, I have the opposite experience, at least the past week, because man, I've been drinking a lot this year already. And I missed everyone because everyone went home. And like I was in Sweden and like I missed you guys so much. You weren't in LA. And I was kind of just hanging out in LA by myself with Kurt. And some nights I was just like, Kurt, we're going to Furley's because I need to socialize and drink. And now I've just been having so many drinks the past week that I just embrace all this social experience, and my mental health is just like over the moon. Like I've unlocked something in myself from drinking. I can't explain it. I feel like a different person.
It's so interesting. But that didn't happen to me. The exact opposite happened. But I tried to fix it, and I was like, okay. I was like I was gassing myself up in my apartment. I was like, all right, here's what you're gonna do. At this point, my sleeping pattern fucked because I've been just sleeping all day. So I was up at 3 a.m. and I was like, I'm hungry. I gotta eat. I don't want to eat in a 24-hour restaurant that my Airbnb's attached to because that's a little bit weird. So I start searching online for 24-hour restaurants, and I find one, and it doesn't say it's 24 hours. I search a list of places to eat, and a place comes up, and it was like, this place is really good for side dishes. Like, Korean culture is all about sharing side dishes, that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Hyping myself up on a fucking Tuesday at 3 a.m. And I get dressed, and I head out into the scary world of Seoul. It's not that scary in hindsight, but it was scary at the time. And I hunt down this place, and I'm walking down the streets of Itaewon, and I find this place, and I'm like, is it open? I don't know. The lights were on, and it said it was 24 hours online when I looked, but I was like, this is kind of weird. So I see the sign. I double check on Google Street View, and I'm like, yeah, this is the place. This is the spot. And I walk in, and it's dead quiet. And there's a very dim light on. And I'm like, "Annyeonghaseyo," which basically means hello. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm the direction I'm looking in as I walk directly in is into the kitchen because I assume if it's 24 hours, somebody would be in the kitchen. But instead, what catches my eye is the eating area over to the left. An old woman rises like the fucking Undertaker. Like this. She straight up rises like fucking just
That's
like
not
that.
real. That's not real.
And looks at me and doesn't say anything. And I'm like, food? Food? I didn't know how to say food at the time. Now things would be different because I just say Bap Juseo, and then she would be like, oh, he's a fucking idiot foreigner. Let's get cooking. But I just went, food, making this motion to my mouth.
Well, in both
like,
situations, you're just an idiot foreigner.
yeah, but this was slightly worse because I just didn't really speak the language. But she looks at me, she goes, huh? And I start going, food, even more. And then I noticed two more old women behind her rise up. So now there's three of them. And I just panic and I run. I run out of the door. I just run. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, did I just walk into someone's home? Did I just walk into someone's home?
Were they
What's
sleeping?
wrong with you?
Yes, they were sleeping. Yeah.
They were sleeping.
They were asleep. Yeah, they were sleeping. But apparently what's super common in Korea, a lot of these 24-hour places, the staff just sleep there. And then when somebody comes in, they just wake up and start cooking.
What?
Yeah,
That's how they work.
That's genius.
Yep. Yeah, that's how they work. Yeah. And so these three old women, if I had just sat down, if I had just alpha mailed the situation and just sat down and said, Bap Juseo, and learned a little bit of Korean before I went there, they probably would have just started bringing me out food.
I
At the
just feel
same
like a lot
time,
of your
though-
problems could have been solved with education, which you lack.
I mean, isn't that just the case for the entirety of Bren's life?
It's freaking impressive, bro. Holy crap.
But the risk reward there is so bad for you to just sit down and try and alpha male a situation where you think
so
you
I
might have
didn't-
wandered
so I
into
didn't.
an old woman's house. You
So I
just sit
just
down
ran
and
away.
go, food.
So I just ran away. But apparently that's the norm. Apparently a lot of 24-hour places, the staff are asleep and they wake up and then they
That's
start
wild as
cooking.
fuck.
Did you
That's
ever
cool.
go back there?
No, never showed my face there again.
Didn't walk around the neighborhood, just walked around it.
I mean, luckily it was down a side street, Alex, because otherwise, no, I wouldn't have been able to.
I personally hate the idea of going traveling on my own because of things like that. Because I feel like with all the research in the world, I would still make an absolute tit of myself.
Let me tell
constantly.
you, with research, you will be okay.
You always
If
travel
you're
with
an
Cynthia.
idiot- I do, but
It's much easier with two. It's twice as easy
No.
with two.
okay, it's honestly it isn't. You think it is, but it isn't. Like there's some situations where I'm like, this would be a lot easier if Cynthia was, because it would just be like weird like conversations or whatever.
Right.
And there's situations where I'm sure she's like, I wish she wasn't here right now,
Yeah.
because there's like, it's you can kind of control it a little as a person who travels a lot. You can control it way better, but you have to have basic freaking knowledge of where you are. Like when me and Cynthia went to Japan, like we learned really quickly that you can go virtually anywhere in Japan and the food is like quality, right? You'll see a restaurant with like 4 stars or 3 stars and you're like, damn, 3 stars, but it's like the only one in your area. Then you go and eat it, you're like, dude, this is like incredible. And it's because like their standards of cuisine are like so high.
Yeah.
But I knew that because I did my research. Because people were like, don't trust like Google reviews or Yelp reviews. People will rate it if they felt like it wasn't as good as this, and they're really harsh out there.
Right.
So you got to just do that research. You could have walked into anything. Like,
Well, it said 24 hours. I did my research. It said it was good food and it said it was open 24 hours. And I tested that. And I don't know if one of those was correct. Don't know if any of those was correct.
It
We'll
could
never
still
know.
have been an old woman's house. You're not 100% sure still
Yeah.
that it was a 24-hour
The,
food place.
the worst part for me is that you woke up 3 people. Because I feel like if you only woke up one person, you could like justify it. And like you could be like, yeah, yeah, you know, this. I woke up this one person in a 24-hour restaurant, and she cooked me food, and I gave her money, and like she did her job. But if you go in there alone at 3 a.m. and you wake up 3 people, you're like, fuck, 2 of these people could be asleep, and I'm disturbing them, and I'm being annoying. So like, if you come in with a pack of like 10 people, you've been drinking, it's 3 a.m. Like, yeah, sure, the 3 women get value because you're a big pack of people. But if you come in alone and you wake up 3 people, that's just rude. That's
There's no
just
value.
mean. Like 2 of those people are like, go fuck yourself. And you'd probably have to leave like 3 times the tip or something. No, wait, you don't tip in Korea.
You don't
Oh
tip
my
in
god,
Korea.
I've been fucking brainwashed by America. But
You
yeah,
have-
the food aside, just like the human logistics is just way off to wake up 3 people. That's horrible.
Just around the corner from us, there's a 24-hour Subway, and I love the idea of wandering there at 3 a.m. and the staff are just asleep on the floor and just rise like the dead. And they've got 5 people to make one person a sandwich,
like-
still
you're
in the
like down
24-hour Subway.
Can I help you? Yes. Would you like a sweet onion chicken teriyaki? Yeah.
What is your choice of bread?
I like the idea of them sleeping in a giant sub. It's like a bed shaped as a sub.
bread. Giant warm baked bread.
They just wake up like from
That
a
would
bread.
be
just-
so comfortable.
That would be and it'll smell so good.
Dude, if you
Yeah.
could sleep on bread,
Yeah, that would be
Bro,
dope.
I thought about like why is it that we get like candles for like, you know,
Smells.
pancakes and
Oh.
smells, right? But why don't we got bread candles, dog?
I bet you can buy a bread candle. It
I
probably...
just-
I'm
I-
googling it. Dude.
No, actually, you
I
can.
gotta-
And you know
burnt
what?
bread.
No, not burnt
Warm
bread.
buttered
Who
bread
said
candle.
fucking burned bread, Johnny? We're talking about bread, not
Bro,
burned bread.
You
Yeah,
can
but if
get
you light up a
warm-
candle of bread, you burn it.
No. The
warm
candle isn't
bread-
made of bread. The candle
Oh.
smells of bread. Oh
Yeah,
I
my
was like,
god.
why do you want a candle made of bread?
Oh my god, it looks so good.
I'll tell you what, though. Here's another like little conspiracy thing for you. You'll love this, Bren. This candle smelling of warm bread thing has reminded me that various supermarkets, I don't know whether Tesco's did this when you worked here, pump the smell of baked bread artificially into the supermarkets from their bakery department so that things smell really nice so that people go and buy them. But
Really?
yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're fresh baking bread that exact moment. They pump it artificially in order for it to smell like freshly baked bread because it drives up sales.
That's interesting.
AI.
Well, I never
Well,
worked in
that's
the
not really
baking
AI,
department. Yeah, I never worked in
No.
the baking department. So I
But it
don't know.
can be though.
but it could be
You know
AI.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
Like you can honestly create like a thing where it's like the amount of bread smell
Mm.
dictates whether or not people go in there.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
if
Bread.
to increase toilet paper sales, they just blast the smell of poop?
No,
I don't think it works for everything, Jonathan.
yeah, it's not like 1-to-1, comparison. You can't just
Garlic, toothpaste, like
I think you're missing the idea here as well. The poop is like job's already done. If it smells of shit, toilet paper is not the option in a.
Well, what about air
yeah,
freshener?
just
Like you can
smearing.
apply the smell of poop to a lot of fresh hygiene items you can buy in a shop.
But,
or
but
you
what
make
you're
things
saying
smell
is-
nice. You're trying to advertise things that smell nice so that people buy the thing that smells nice. If you were trying to get people to buy poo, make it smell like poo. If you're a manure shop, pipe in that poo smell.
No one would ever buy poo, Josh.
What? People buy manure all the time. It's really good for plants.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
My dad, we've
face
previously
is
bought a
telling everyone.
lot of manure.
Why
We've
wouldn't
bought-
they just use my own poo?
human poo
Because
does
it's
not
not
have
how
a
that
lot of
works.
It's
nutrients.
not that good.
It's the nutrients that we feed the cows and all the other animals.
Your poo,
I mean-
non-nutritious. Ain't nobody that wants your poo. Horse
Unless
poo,
you're eating lettuce all
delicious.
Well, let me tell you, I had a lot of kimchi last night, and there's some fucking probiotics in that shit.
Holy shit. So, Bren, where else did you go after Korea?
Well, so, I went to Japan. I don't know why I stuttered so much or hesitated to say that, but I went to
Yeah,
Japan.
you made it seem like you were going everywhere, but
No, I just went. I
Japan.
went to Korea and I went to Japan. But
Can you
when I
explain
was-
to me, though, why you went to Korea, Japan, back to Korea, and then LA? Why didn't you go Korea, Japan, LA?
because Korea was like an impromptu trip.
What?
I didn't plan on. I didn't. Oh, sorry. Japan was
Oh.
not planned.
Right, you
Okay.
just randomly decided to
So
go to
you're-
Japan.
Basically,
Departing from Korea.
for Wolf's visa process, he needed to hand in his residency card, which means he needs to leave the country. The easiest way to do that is to get a round trip flight to Japan. So he was going to Japan. I wanted to go, and I just booked the round trip flight. It was super cheap. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, when you say it like that, it does. But
I
what'd
could
you
have
guys-
saved money if I planned ahead and did other stuff. But essentially, when we were going on this Japan trip, we 2 days before I was due to fly, I started to feel 3 days before we flew to Japan. We filmed the. Have you seen the video of me eating the
Silkworm?
silkworm?
I think it
soup?
only came out today, didn't it? I saw it in my YouTube
No, it
subscription
came out,
box.
Came out like yes. Oh no, it came out when we were in Dallas.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
like 3-4 days
First
ago, yeah.
first day, yeah, on the Saturday. But we went to some like little, basically a tent restaurant, and it's very smoky and there's no ventilation in it because they're just cooking all the time. And what I think happened was my lungs got irritated from the smoke because I was coughing a lot when I first went in there. And then the next morning I had this cough and it just would not go away and it got worse and worse and worse. And I got really bad. I think I caught the flu. But here's the thing, at the time, coronavirus was fucking popping off.
Oh my god.
Popping the fuck off. And I had just ate silkworms and chicken hearts and all sorts of weird shit in a tent at the peak of coronavirus. so I was coughing and like reading the news. I'm like, oh wow, this corona situation is getting pretty bad.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like coughing and getting worse, and I had fever at night. And when it came to fly for Japan, I was still sick. And we got to Japan, traveled all day, got to the Airbnb, and we were like, right, let's go eat somewhere. And I still wasn't feeling very well. I still had a cough, was still quite sick. We sit down, we eat the ramen. It was lovely, and my body loved it because I just absolutely demolished it. Like I ate all of it, drank all of it, went down like a treat. But suddenly, as we were sat at the bar, I felt a little twinge in my body. And instantly I knew I am going to shit myself. Instantly. And I didn't tell Wolf or his girlfriend this, but I think they knew because I went, "Where's the restroom? Where's the restroom?" And he pointed me in the direction. And luckily in Japan, there's like a restroom in pretty much every single bar or restaurant establishment, which is not the case in Korea. A lot of places in Korea actually share a public restroom nearby.
Yeah.
But I jumped in there and I just started shitting water, just coming out of me, just like
Like you were just peeing from your bowl at that point.
basically. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of the biblical reference that I'm thinking of.
You weren't parting the Red Sea. The Red Sea was coming out of your ass.
Exactly. The Red
Oh, I
Sea
hope
was
it wasn't the
definitely
Red
coming out.
Sea.
The gates of Nazareth. I don't know. Something
gates
like
of
that.
Nazareth were coming out of your ass.
Nazareth?
So my ass was the gates of Nazareth. and-
Nazareth is a very small town.
Yeah, coming out of it was people. I don't know. I don't know. There was an analogy there and I fucked it up. But I just started shitting water and I felt awful. And I finished up and I was like, oh God, okay, am I safe? I went out and I was like, okay, let's go. And I just went to bed and I was feverish the entire time. And I was rolling about. I wasn't getting any of a good sleep. I was coughing all the time. I was paranoid that I was going to shit myself or throw up in my sleep. And then it would be like such a nuisance, when you're on holiday, just to shit all over the sheets. It's just
That
not-
really would be quite a nuisance.
Not something I've ever encountered in my life.
Yeah.
I don't pack
But
and be like,
neither
babe,
have I,
I'm
but
really
I
concerned if
didn't-
I shit all over the sheets.
Yeah, I didn't want to encounter that in my life. So I was making great efforts to try and not shit myself. And I didn't.
Oh
But
my God.
what I was doing in bed when I was waking up, like sweating buckets, just with this fever and like feeling like ass, was reading the BBC News, and I go onto the page that's talking about the coronavirus, and I look at it, and I look at Japan, and it says 3rd case of coronavirus found in Japan, and in my feverish state, I looked at that and just thought, oh my God, I'm the third case in Japan.
Wait, how?
Yeah. Yeah, I genuinely thought I was the third case of coronavirus in Japan.
They thought
Because-
they knew, but you thought that they had found you before you even knew.
No, I thought because they just announced it, I thought that I was an undiscovered case. And I was actually the real third case, and they were the fourth case. So I was reading the symptoms of coronavirus, and I hit the fucking check marks. Let me tell you, I had a very dry cough, dry insistent cough, a shortness of breath, a fever, diarrhea. I almost threw up. It was all there. All the signs were pointing towards me being.
But that's also just a basic. But that's also what happens with the flu too.
Yes, yeah.
I know the coronavirus is a flu, but it's a different strain of flu.
But you have to understand,
flu.
Alex.
You're an idiot.
I was very sick, and I was reading this, and I had been traveling so much that I just assumed that I had contracted it because I'm constantly like, especially when you're traveling, like a lot of Chinese tourists, and I was like, who knows? Who knows?
True.
So
No, you're not
at the
wrong.
time, I was like, oh my fucking God, and I was reading about how it affects younger people. Like if you're healthy, like like I was in the prime of my life, clearly drinking every day, it doesn't affect you as badly. So I was reading this and I was thinking, oh my fucking God, I've got it. And I was getting so paranoid about potentially like spreading it to like Wolf or his girlfriend or anyone.
So what you do?
Well, I just stayed in quarantine. I quarantined myself.
Okay, and you were
And
just
I-
popping pills and medication.
Maybe you beat
Yeah.
the coronavirus.
Yo, what if?
What if
I-
you
I'm
had the
still-
coronavirus and
I'm
then
still
just like
sick now.
The thing is,
So-
there will be people that have it that don't realize they have it that then just get over it. I mean, I'm not saying that you did. The likelihood of that is very, very small. But there will be people
yeah, but it makes
like
for a
you.
sick story. Like it's a good pickup line. Like I
It's a
beat the coronavirus.
pickup line.
No, but like
I
it's
beat the
like if Bren was
coronavirus.
on Tinder, he could just put that in his Tinder bio. Just like I
Nobody
beat
would
the
want
It's
to-
coronavirus.
not a
No.
thing.
No.
I would put does ass to mouth before I put coronavirus.
No, this is you're underrating how good that is. Like I beat the coronavirus.
Yeah,
now
and
I
then
provide limes or some shit. Like
now I provide limes.
yeah, because it's Corona. You beat the coronavirus
my-
and then drinking Corona.
Oh my
And-
God, Johnny.
And like you
Dude,
can the
2
puns.
days on the desk, and this guy thinks he's
Yeah,
got the
dropping the
gift,
puns.
You know?
Yo, I'm fucking funny. You guys are sleeping.
You know there have been 7 coronavirus diagnoses in California.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the most in the US by quite a long shot actually.
How many in New York
Well-
right now? I think it's 1, right? 1 or 2.
I don't even know whether there have been any in New York. I don't know.
Okay, good.
Oh, dude, it was insane when I was flying into LAX.
Yeah.
Because normally the immigration, like for any foreigner who goes into LAX, you will know if you're listening to this. For American citizens, it's not as bad. It's still pretty bad, but it's not as bad. Well, you go through what feels like the slaughterhouse because you are in a perpetual queue for 4 hours. Sometimes it's 4 hours. On a good day, it's like 2. But you queue up. And for some reason, they got the same queue that goes, despite the fact you might have a visa that allows you to go straight to the front. They don't give a fuck. You queue up in the same system as everyone else who's also applying for ESTAs and the electronic systems. So normally you're waiting an hour to use the machine so it can scan your fingerprints and you get a piece of paper you can hand to an actual person. And then you wait another 2 hours to actually see a human being.
Yeah.
And then they might grill you. But because they blocked all flights from China, holy shit, I got through in 30 minutes. I went straight to the front.
That's so ridiculous because I was literally waiting in a queue for 2 hours when I got in, and everybody that had just flown in from Taipei was covered in masks. I mean, they were just trying to leave
Yep.
and trying not to get infected. It was more people in LAX than I'd ever seen. It must have been 3 or 4 flights that had come out of
Jesus.
Southeast Asia. Is Taiwan considered Southeast Asia? That kind of area, anyway.
Yeah,
I guess Asia. I don't know.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. But
It is Asia, obviously, but I don't know if it'd be Southeast Asia.
Well,
but that's just nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, well, I'm glad you're okay, but no, there's no way they would have third person.
Yeah, you were not the
before-
third case.
Well, no,
of
they
coronavirus.
wouldn't have known. But what I'm saying is, I I knew I was a third, and they had actually misidentified the third, and they had found the fourth.
Bro, that's
And
just
I was,
flu headache. That's flu brain. That's what that
I was
is.
too scared to go to the doctors or anything because I was like, what if they just put me in quarantine and I'm trapped?
Yeah, it's much better to spread it to everybody else. Those you love, those you work with. I just thought I thought about a week ago. We're now I said we. I'm using this house as an office, but we've essentially acquired a streaming house and we've got a load of the talent team for the Overwatch League living in here. We've got Custer, Jake, Jaws, Bren, and then we've got Truck Kurt, who's like a producer, and then Wyatt as well. Am I missing anybody? ZP was staying with us for a little while as well earlier this week. If there is an illness in this house, it takes down the broadcast team. It just ruins the broadcast team. It would end up being me casting with Hex and then Custer just... Oh, no. I mean, Custer would be dead. So I guess it's just
Johnny on the desk.
Jonathan
Johnny
and Zoe on the desk. And Jonathan would probably get infected as well because he'd just come in contact with us during K-Town. So... It would be Zoe and Hex covering the entirety of the Overwatch League. So, I think we need to. Mitch and Matt as well. Yeah, we need to sprinkle. Yeah, Wolf and Seth, but Wolf and Seth are going to be flying all over the place anyway. You know, like
how did they get in?
How did they get in?
The flights aren't blocked from South Korea.
Oh, they're not. Okay,
no,
I didn't know.
They're only blocked from.
No, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to come here.
Well, they should have stopped your ass.
We flew on the same day, actually.
Lord knows what you had. You had some shit.
But I got sick again when I landed on the 4th. I came into this house. This house is like it's just falling to pieces. It feels like there's no hot water in one half of the house. We didn't have heating to begin with. The internet didn't work. But I came here, slept on an air mattress with one blanket, and it must have been like 40 degrees Fahrenheit in the house.
Yeah.
And I woke up just incredibly ill, and I'm still sick now.
I don't know whether. I think it's
know.
just aftershocks. It's coronavirus aftershocks.
The coronavirus is reactivated in my system.
It's so bad because this is like such a serious thing, and like it's really, really nuts. Like what's going on? Because I believe the death toll is past
1,000, right?
No. Has it really?
No, the death toll has gone
passed
past
SARS.
100. Past 1,000 is past SARS.
It passed SARS, yeah.
Oh wow, it has. Yeah.
But the fact that you were sitting in a hotel in Japan, opening up the BBC News, and you see that youth, and you see the coronavirus in Japan history, and you in your mind thought, I'm the third patient is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Like it's the most you thing that you could have possibly had done. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, jumping to someone who's trying to feel himself this year. We got young Jonathan Larson.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Was that a setup like
how long have we recorded?
Like 38 minutes?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Johnny's out here saying that this is the year of the Swede. And I want to know why. I want to know why this is Johnny's year, Jahani's year.
No, this is just the year for all of us. I don't know. I've had so many ups and downs the past 4 years, and I don't know what happened like a week ago. I just put a fucking key into a fucking lock or something. I just like unlocked my true potential. And I feel I don't know if I'm oblivious. I don't know what's happening. But it's just like I've unlocked such a large amount of confidence and like self-belief and personality
well, you were
that I
wearing
haven't
a
had
fucking
before.
turtleneck, so clearly there's some confidence going on.
I don't know what it is. If it's like me being back on like the broadcast team or something, but like I was through so much like mental shit the past 4 years that now I feel healed. I feel I can only describe it through like religious words.
You found God,
terms.
and God is being on the analyst desk.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I'm just loving life. Like I was out with Wolf yesterday, and he was just like, "Dude, you're a different guy," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a different guy," and I'm just.
What happened a week ago?
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like a different human being. Like I have goals. Like I behave different socially. I'm just confident, pumped. Like I wake up and I just like, fuck yeah, please.
Damn, dude.
Like, last year how Bren was like, oh, hangovers don't exist.
Yeah.
Hangovers literally, like, okay, literally they do exist, but it feels like they don't exist because my approach to being hungover is just like, I'll just get over it. It's fine. It's just a headache.
Right.
Like stop being a pussy, and I just get through it, and I just like it doesn't affect me. Like I'm superhuman. Like
Right,
and I don't know
okay.
what it is. I'm just so happy.
Maybe
'cause
you're
it feels
drunk all
like,
the time.
Yeah, maybe.
I
But
want.
I'm gonna be drunk more because fuck yeah, it's great.
What? But you don't know what's changed.
No, I you don't know. I think so I moved. We obviously moved from Glendale. You guys moved to North Hollywood. I got an apartment in downtown, and it's great because it's close to work or whatever. It's convenient because I got a bunch of shit close to me, which is really nice. But just breaking out of like old habits and like old environments and just settling down in a new place. I really like downtown because in my life I've always been comfortable with like a nice, safe kind of neighborhood. You know, everything's good. Downtown is a bit more rough. It's a bit more like not New York, but you know, it's a bit more gritty, like a bit more unsafe, weirder people, whatever. And it's just nice to be in that kind of environment where you're not comfortable
But what
all the time.
happened? It's just
I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm just having a great time.
Yeah,
And I'm just loving it. And
sometimes
it's like,
people's
I
mental
love
just
everything.
swaps. You know, sometimes you
I-
just have those weeks where your mental swaps, and if you can hold on to it, it's sick.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now, trying to hold on to it.
Bro,
and not
I-
get tilted
now,
by super
I wanna-
calling me out.
I want to talk to you about the I want to talk to you about the turtlenecks
Yeah.
because they're, you know, what were you thinking?
Wow, dude, turtlenecks are sick.
Yeah, you look great, to be fair. It's just hilarious because it's like the only difference between you and Custa was that you were wearing a jacket and Custa wasn't, because even though Custa wasn't wearing a turtleneck, it's just so funny. You guys look like you were brothers. You know,
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
messed
That's
up.
true.
It was, I'm sorry, you know, white people, but it was super funny. I'm looking at it the whole time and just like, yo, they like no one can give them a pattern or something, or like a button down shirt. Or
Yeah, I
like a
can't
scarf.
explain it. Like past couple of months, I've just had people tell me that I look good in turtlenecks. And then, you know, obviously we have a wardrobe person, Haley, who's awesome, who
Oh yeah, she's the
you know,
best.
he styles us for the broadcast and whatever. And I just sent like some images and I was like, this is like the style I want to go for. And she just bought me a bunch of cool shit. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm the turtleneck guy. I am the turtleneck guy. That's my brand. This is who I am now. And then I just have people coming out of the woodwork and just like, no, you're stealing my brand. So like Rich Campbell is like, holy shit, I'm the turtleneck guy. I'm the guy who wears all that kinds of 80s dad
Fucking,
kind
That's
of
true.
fuck your mom
Hero
kind of
and
outfits. And then
Kickstarter, Rainbow Six were wearing it.
Parker, yeah, from Rainbow Six,
Parker
he like
has
hit me
a
up in
lot of
DMs
turtlenecks.
and was like, you're stealing my turtlenecks, bro. And I'm just like, no, fuck off. I'm the turtleneck guy
Wait,
now.
did Parker really do that?
No,
That's
well,
fair.
we're friendly banter, you know, we're friends.
No, because
So-
that makes it even better. Because Parker cracks me up. He shaved his head, and then I was gonna message him and be like, "Yo, you trying to steal my look, fam? You know, like you trying to steal my look?" And then Richard Lewis is gonna message me and be like, "Yo, you trying to steal my look, fam?"
I've never thought about that before.
my
Oh, that's
outfits
great.
got more comments and likes than fucking my analysis. Like people were, it got people excited. Like it was a talking point.
You know,
Like, it was on Reddit.
some people's takeaway from that would be that the world is a horrific, shallow place, and nothing you do matters other than how you look. But I'm glad that you enjoy people like in the turtlenecks.
Speaking of horrific and shallow, Josh and Bren look like someone slapped them in the face with some tomato sauce and then put them on broadcast.
Oh yeah, with the makeup.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's-
see
Because
that.
Josh's head is so big. You can even lie.
Was this a
It was
fucking
like
roast
Trump.
Josh session?
It was like Trump, dude. It was so
Like
funny.
Trump?
Yeah, dude, have
look
you
like
seen the
Trump.
picture? We look like Trump.
No, I
dude,
haven't
it was
seen the
So
picture.
good.
But I don't really care because it's like people look at that and they're like, oh well, Bren clearly didn't do his makeup, you know, like Or maybe you
Yeah.
did, but people know it's not my fault, you know?
Sure.
So I'm like, whatever. I actually don't care what I look like on broadcast, but
do you guys have the Haley styles you guys too when you're offsite as
Yeah.
well?
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
that's why I always look good.
I really messed it up though, because for some reason I thought I was only in Dallas for 3 days. I don't know how I managed that, because I was there for 5. And so I only brought 3 days worth of clothes. And
my god!
I was still intending to. I was like, okay, now that I'm on the road, you know, I'm out there with Bren. We're gonna be in hotels. Hotels always have gyms. I might as well spend some time at least going to the gym a little bit and staying somewhat in shape, rather than just eating Dallas barbecue every time we're out there and drinking a shit ton and coming back looking like a rotund mass. So I intended to go to the gym as well. Didn't pack any clothes. What I wore when I flew there, I had to wear the next day, and I had to wear the day when I left. The only clothes I brought with me was what had been given to me to wear on broadcast. I'm like
Including
a small
underwear.
Oh no! I had enough underwear, but for some reason my brain had gone underwear important, tops. Trousers, not important. I was like a child that only was able to cope with what had specifically been my responsibility to hold on to. I was like, yes,
walking around with an "I love Dallas" shirt on or something, you know, it's
just free clothes. Yeah, I was just trying to get people to sign stuff so that I could wear it for the broadcast.
You couldn't get the Dallas shoe to give you like a shirt or something?
I ain't out here begging Arrow for handouts. Like I can't clothe myself. Like I've got clothes. I just didn't bring them with me.
Dear Lord. Well, it was good to see you guys on the road.
Yeah, it was fun.
Stuff.
I enjoyed it enormously. It was like, I know what you mean, Johnny, in terms of it being like a pump up. For me, it wasn't like a huge shift in mentality or something, but it was just a fresh start, having been not like just being trapped in the UK, not working for so long. I love work. I don't know when this happened, because I used to be the laziest fuckwad ever known to humanity when I was at university and stuff. Just never worked all the time, just played video games constantly, didn't care about anything, just was not putting in any kind of effort. And now I just love having projects to work on constantly.
Because you love what you're working on.
Yeah, but it's not just I love what I'm working on. Like, I love making things. I love like doing shit, you know? Like,
but do you think that you would love it if it wasn't video games?
Yeah, if it was, yeah, I mean, I'd like it if it was, if I was working as the 24-hour-old women serving Bren at 3 a.m., no, probably wouldn't enjoy that, honestly. Probably wouldn't wake up at 3 a.m. going, God damn, I love my job. Although in a Korean accent, obviously, rather than a Texan one.
I want to hear that one.
Not going to go for that, actually. But yeah, I think just actually having some project that you're working on is fun, as long as it's not mind-numbingly boring. But just the idea of building something up is fun in itself.
We're pretty lucky because our industry is so dynamic. So you're always working on something new or something exciting, and especially creatively. Like, we're usually working on very creative things that engages us. Whereas in other fields or other like 9-to-5 jobs, you might not have that same kind of creative exposure. And that's why people have like hobbies like playing music or, you know, writing, doing art or whatever.
Or in Bren's case,
like,
getting drunk every day.
Yeah. Well,
in both of their cases.
Ways.
In Bren and Reinforce's case, apparently.
Apparently, dude. We're just out here drinking like our livers don't matter.
Yeah, me and Goldenboy, the sober Sams on the right-hand side of this. And then Bren and Johnny just getting fucked up over here on the left.
I haven't touched a beverage in forever. You know?
Yeah, me too. Me too.
What is it like up there on your fucking podium?
Oh, it feels great, honestly. Lots of wind, you know, it's blowing. It smells like bread, personally. You know, it's got a real nice bread odor that just hit me nicely.
You know, that bread, that warm buttered bread candle.
A little garlic, perhaps, bringing it all back in there.
I tell you what, I am buzzing to get back into poker, though.
Yeah, I was playing a bunch of it when I was there in the UK because it's legal to play online poker. So that was my little project. My little brother was sat with me watching me play poker constantly, and I was trying to teach him how to play because I figure he already knows how to play, but I was trying to teach him how to play properly, because if he's ever going to play in the future, it's better to understand risk management and stuff like that, and expected value. These are like important things, I think, for young people or developing people to know. And my mum though just said, "What the at? He's going to lose all of his money. He was like, he doesn't even have any money. It would be illegal for him to make an account. You're in charge of him anyway. You're his parents. I'm just trying to impart some knowledge.
She couldn't wait to get your ass out of there.
Yeah.
Some people are so against the idea. They get told from a very young age that it's just gambling is very bad, and if you do it, you will lose everything you own. And in some cases, that's correct. But poker is like such a good game. Like there's so much-
but it's on some zero game, so it's
Okay.
not like it's
Yeah.
not. To me, okay. So I actually moved away from like being super into poker to like not really caring anymore. And I sort of had like the same epiphany I had when I stopped playing classic WoW, where I was just like, this doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, like, sure, you can win some money, but it's not like substantial amounts of money, and I'm never gonna be good enough to like bring in substantial amounts of money. So like, it's fun to hang out with people and like have a good time.
yeah.
But I think a lot of people shy away from gambling just because of like they're scared of greed. So this is, I don't know how to put this in a normal way because it's not normal. But if you
Okay.
look at it, everyone's seen the movie Seven, right? The Seven Deadly Sins or whatever.
I actually haven't, no.
But
You
you're
haven't.
familiar with the concept of the 7 deadly sins.
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, there are 7 deadly sins. I don't know them from the top of my head. There's like wrath, greed, gluttony,
Wrath, greed,
lust.
gluttony, lust.
Yeah.
Sloth.
Sloth,
Evil.
good one.
Yeah.
Evil? Evil's so all-encompassing. That can't be one. What are the others?
Envy?
I can't remember.
Envy, good
Envy.
one. All right, we're down to one last one.
It's not
Pride.
Pride. Oh my
Is it
god.
pride?
Probably.
No.
Pride
No.
sounds like a
Hold on a
deadly sin.
Yeah,
Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. You motherfucker. Hey
7
Siri.
deadly sins.
All right,
Hey,
I'm looking them
Siri.
up now. Yeah, it was. It's pride. It's lust, gluttony,
on.
greed,
What are the
sloth,
7
wrath,
deadly
envy,
sins?
pride.
The 7 deadly sins, also known as the capital vices, or cardinal sins, is a grouping and classification of vices within Christian teachings, although it does not appear explicitly in the Bible. Would you like to hear more?
Well, you didn't
Nah,
tell
Nah,
them.
I've Googled
I'm
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I got them.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah.
We
Go ahead.
already listed them: lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride.
Yeah.
Pride
there's
is
also-
a sin.
Yeah, because pride doesn't mean that you're proud of somebody else or something like that. It's like an older definition. It means to think of yourself very highly. Like, you know, when you
okay.
call someone like a very proud person, they're like,
Got it.
at least
So,
that's what I think. An
It
emotional
stems from the Tower of Babel and essentially thinking you're in this case better than God, that like you're better than like the best possible. Like you don't have the perception to understand that you have your own faults and like people are better than
Egotistical.
you at other things and
But here's the thing.
narcissism and that kind of shit.
But Bren, how good is that anime though?
What?
Oh, it's fucking dope.
It's
But
good.
what I was thinking of when I was referring to the 7 deadly sins was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, that's another good one too.
'Cause I
Damn,
recently been rewatching that. That's how I knew them off the top of my head.
How did we get
Yeah.
into this?
Well, so I want to. Yeah. So
How are we talking about anime?
I knew
So-
Anti-Weave was going to show up.
So I'm a very introspective person. I love taking notes of like my behaviors of like how I could be better and what I could do better and stuff like that. And so one day I just like looked at the 7 deadly sins and was like, in what capacity like do I have these behaviors, or like how do I have I sinned, or like that kind of way to be
My
introspective
goodness.
and be like, no, because it's good knowing your weakness, right?
Yeah, I get that. I get
Because I mean I've times been a pretty greedy person, like, because who doesn't like money, right? And like knowing that weakness, that I sometimes succumb to greed, is very good, because when I find myself in that situation, then I know better and I can like snap out of that greedy behavior. So like if you're having like like we were in Vegas and like I didn't lose money, but there's like you get into like the zone of greed and it's just like I'm going to win money, or like I'm going to win my money back. And it's like learning to snap out of that, and learning how not to like further your sins or whatever. I had like one night I was playing poker and I didn't go so well. Didn't lose a ton of money because we don't play with a ton of money. But just like acknowledging that behavior, I kind of lost the.
But I think that's the most.
Like,
I think that's one of the most interesting things about poker, though, is that in order to be good at it, you have to not play greedily. Like you actually have to play with the
statistically.
Yeah,
So
statistically.
I'm going to bring it far back though, real quick, just to say, you guys enjoy the game of poker.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You like the game. That's like saying I like Overwatch or I like Halo. You like the game that is poker. But gambling is a problem. And gambling is bad.
Yes,
because gambling addiction is real. So I just wanted to correct that before we got removed off the air.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think poker is gambling.
No, because I'm pretty sure Bren said something like gambling's not all that bad. I just want us to have a podcast tomorrow.
Gambling's pretty bad.
Gambling is, and look, it just, if you gamble is fine. It's understanding like when you can say no.
Yeah.
And then when it like having limits, like that's what it is. Whenever I go gambling, I have, and which is not very often, I have, let's say I take $50, right? And I would go play blackjack, or I'd go play roulette or whatever, right? Roulette, basically, you're just throwing your money away, but whatever.
What a terrible game.
I know it is, but I enjoy it. But yes, it is terrible.
Oh yeah.
And you play the game, and if let's say I like make money for whatever reason, and if I make $50, I take that $50 and I put it in my pocket, and then I play with the house at that point. Whatever I have extra, I play with. I decide this is like the limit that I'm going to play. That's how I always do it with gambling. Even when I drink, I'm still very much. It also helps too that I have a wife who like yells at you all the time. So that aspect matters as well. So get a wife, but that also is an important thing. I actually learned that from my friend Warren at Gfinity. First time I ever gambled, I had 200 pounds. And I won. I doubled it up. I get 400. And he was like, take your 200, put it in your pocket. I don't want Cynthia calling me, telling me, that you're in trouble. So put the money away. And then I did it. And I actually doubled up. I won like $600 that night.
Nice. So gambling is good, right?
No.
Because you doubled up twice. So you should always gamble.
But you fucking asshole. It's not good to do. Like, you just have to understand your limits, you know? But anyway, you guys like the game of poker, and you're excited to get back to play the game of poker again, correct? Yeah. Would poker be as fun without the gambling, though?
Yes, because I did it in Japan. So I wanted to play poker, and I didn't really have much to do on one of the days when we were in Japan because Wolf and his girlfriend were busy doing something relating to, I don't know what it was, but they couldn't go out.
Couple shit.
So the way you set that up was just like, they told me they were busy. I don't know what they do. I don't know what couples do.
They didn't go outside of their room either. What they were doing. Because that's what you said.
I peeked in the door. I think they were wrestling. I don't understand. They told me they didn't hurt each other, though.
I believe it was Greco-Roman, perhaps. Not too sure, though. One of them was wearing a leotard.
And then I heard them clapping afterwards. I don't get it.
Go ahead.
But I typed onto Google poker, and Google is very smart these days, and it will translate it into whatever language or country you're in automatically. And it found me a poker club, but it was all in Japanese. So I didn't really know what to expect, but it was a 20-minute walk away. So I figured, why not? I'll go. So I walked there, and so gambling is very illegal in Japan. It's like super illegal. Everything's completely locked down. Esports is kind of being strangled by gambling laws in Japan, where they're not allowed prizes for a lot of events. That's why, I mean, it's a big problem in terms of esports trying to grow in Japan. But people have that mindset where I don't want to play poker, even if, for example, we were playing poker for no money. Some people would still be deathly against it because they associate it with gambling, and they've been told, gambling's really bad. So they just don't even want anything to do with it. The same mentality kind of is in Japan, and Texas Hold'em, the variation of poker that I like to play, is very niche in Japan, super niche. But this club I found, uh, apparently they play it there, and I went there not knowing really what to expect. And I walked upstairs, and I say, arigato, hi everybody, and there was basically just three people there: a dealer who was like, she looked like 20, an old dude, and another guy who was dressed up like he ran the place, and he spoke very good English. And I was speaking to him, and I was like, "Oh, so we can play poker here?" And he's like, "Yeah, we play poker here." And basically, they have a setup where you pay 20, basically like
$20 or
$20.
200 yen.
Yeah,
Really?
like 2,000 yen.
2,000 yen. Sorry.
Yeah, like 2,000 yen, and you get a certain amount of chips, and you get a free drink. And the drinks are super cheap. So basically, you buy this pack of chips to play with, and at the end of the day, like at the end, you can choose to save those chips for another day, or you can just choose to reset and play with
But the
another
chips have no
different amount.
monetary value.
Chips have no monetary value whatsoever.
Yeah.
And what I found was I spent 2 nights there. The first night I was there, I was just playing, and I played in a couple of tournaments, and they had a super interesting tournament format where you pick a random seat, and each seat is assigned a random stack. And I got the short stack every time, which is super unlucky. But I went pretty far in the tournament.
Are you sure it was unlucky?
Yeah.
Or-
The young foreign white boy gets a short stack every time. Sounds like they're playing a joke on you, honestly.
No, it was I don't think they would do that in Japan. They have like this concept. It sounds so fucking weird to say, but they have like the modern day concept of like honor, and like
Yeah,
if they were to slime me in any way, that it would be like super fucked. And they basically, they just wouldn't be very good.
Yeah.
But I played it for a short while, and some other dude walked in, and I don't know who this guy is, but he was Japanese. His English was amazing. And I was talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, I go to the casinos in the Hippodrome, and I've been to Commerce in LA as well." He was telling me about that, and I was talking to him, and he was like the fucking Daniel Negreiro from Japan.
No, you couldn't even say his name
I don't know
right.
how to say his last name.
Negrano.
Negrano.
Negranu.
Negranu.
All you guys screwed
Yeah.
it up. It was great.
I don't fucking know what his last name is, but he was like that guy, but from Japan, because he was just talking all the time at the
Right.
table, and he was telling them all in Japanese that I was a pro player. and as soon as he told them, they all tried to shake my hand.
What?
And I had to be like, no. I was saying to them, no, I'm not. But they didn't believe me. They believed him because he was the regular. And so they were all like, oh, please go easy on me. Please go easy on me, shaking my hand. Literally everyone.
Oh my god.
Oh,
The thing
wow.
I loved most about it was because this game was so niche and no one ever plays it, and gambling's like highly looked down upon. Everyone there was a massive enthusiast, and they were super welcoming to beginners because they wanted to try and grow the scene in Japan.
Yeah.
And they were just, it was quite literally like I had stepped into a slice of life anime. I shit you not, because I went there, and there are people from the age of 18 all the way up to 70. Businessmen, salarymen, students, women, men, it doesn't matter. They're all people from various different walks of life. And they were all there because of their love for poker.
You were
And
like
they
at
were
the
all,
poker haiku.
bro, I was in the poker haiku, bro. And they were all friends with each other. And I was like the weird episode where the strange foreigner shows up. And by the end, we're all friends. That was like the weird episode I was in.
The
But-
strange
Like a
foreigner
filler
with
ep- you were a filler
coronavirus comes in. Just sets off the new
You were a
arc. of
filler
the-
episode with your coronavirus.
It was so wholesome and so sick. It was so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like that's like a thing that genuinely I would say is like a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because you don't know when you're ever going to go back to Japan again. Although you should.
Well,
And if
probably
you're listening-
August.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're
thinking
listening
August?
to this podcast,
Yeah.
You're going to go
Hell
back
yeah,
in
dude.
August.
I think so, yeah.
You're talking about something that's once in a lifetime, and you're going to try and repeat it within 6 months.
Yeah.
bro. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, Japan is that awesome.
Japan is so good. It's
Japan-
so fucking good. Yeah.
Is the only place that me and Cynthia have willingly repeated. We went to Japan when we went to Japan. We went to Beijing after, and we saw the Great Wall, then we went to Japan. And then when I did Overwatch Korea, we flew to Japan after, and literally 2 days in Japan. I was in my like pre-Titan Games diet, and we just went and freaking gorged in food because I was like, look, I don't know when I'm gonna get another chance to go to Japan. I was telling the nutritionist that they hired me, and I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna get another chance to go to Japan again. So I'm out here eating everything. But if you're listening to this podcast or watching it, everyone should try their hardest to go to Japan. Because you learn is a culture. It's beautiful. Everything about it is just, it's so amazing. I cannot stress it enough. And yeah, well, then again, I think everyone should travel, or at least attempt to travel, because that's how you gain some perspective in this world. But yeah, it's man,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm
didn't-
planning a trip as well at the end of the year. So
I didn't know the hype. I didn't know that people always hype up Japan, right? And I'm a weeb, so I'm like, I can't be that good, right? But it was fucking dope. I tell you what was weird though, maid cafes. And oh my god, I've just remembered
Don't
another
like that.
story.
Yeah,
I'll just
I'm not a
remember-
fan of maid cafes.
Go on
Alright,
then. What's the maid
No, I've
cafes?
got to just type it in. I'll tell it another day.
Okay.
So yeah, but just to preface it, if you've ever been to Japan, or if you're familiar with the concept of maid cafes, it's like this thing. Josh and Johnny, do you know about
No,
maid cafes?
I've never heard about them.
Okay.
Was this the slap thing?
So this is
Yeah.
basically what this is it's a cafe where it's not very good, by the way. Like the coffee's not good, the tea's not good, the food's not good.
Fuck that.
But the waitresses are submissive, I guess. They're like they'll call you master, and they'll like
Well, it depends on
Oh.
the cafe. I found.
yeah, it does
out.
depend on the cafe. It is true,
Yeah.
but traditionally, it's meant to be a very submissive experience that is very male oriented. Where like the man is meant to feel like he is awesome. It's like a living, breathing weeb anime, basic, or waifu anime. Sorry, waifu anime.
Yeah. It's super weird.
I actually went to one with Cynthia in New York. Only reason why
New York.
there was one in Chinatown in New York City. They
Okay.
closed down, obviously, because that shit wasn't flying in 2016. But the only reason why I went was because I wanted curry. I wanted chicken curry and white rice and stuff, and they had it there, and it was amazing. But that was it. That was the only reason why we went. But it was weird, super odd. So you're not going to tell your
Wait,
story?
the only place where
I
you could
should
get
tell my
chicken
story.
curry was in a.
Well, at the time, I didn't know where to look, honestly, because like Japanese chicken curry, which is my favorite Japanese dish, by the way, is like very different, and you have to. Not every place makes it. Like if it's a Japanese restaurant, it doesn't make it. Like they
Right.
don't guarantee that they make it. Like they'll do sushi, they'll do ramen, they'll do udon, they'll do soba, they'll do yakitori, but for some reason, chicken katsu curry is just not very common.
Huh.
Luckily, I have a place now in New York called Naruto Ramen that like does it, and it's freaking incredible. But yeah, so that was my experience with a maid cafe. And it was weird, and then but mine was also weird too because they asked me if I wanted the experience, and I was like, no. It's like, if that's okay, I'd rather not. But then there was like this guy in the back who was getting the experience. I was like, because Cynthia was right next to me, and then the lady asked me, she's like, would you like the maid cafe experience? And then I looked at Cynthia, and she's like, what is a maid cafe experience? And I was like, it's like, I only heard about this in passing. And then they explained it to her, and then she looked at me, she gave me this look, and she's like, up to you.
Oh, that's bait. That's bait.
I was like, that's bait right there,
That's
bro.
bait.
So I was like driving my car, I was like, that's bait. And I was like, no, I really just want the chicken katsu curry. And they were like, oh, okay, no problem. But then I saw the guy in the back, and he was, they were like, oh, hello, master, how you doing? I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. That was
See, this
I
is
would
why you
hate
need to
that
know
shit.
about the 7 deadly sins. You all need fucking Jesus.
I said no.
I need what? Cheez-Its.
Jesus, you fucking idiot.
Dude, you need Cheez-It Grooves, dude.
Jesus crunch time.
Fuck it out.
Yeah,
It's crunch
okay.
time.
I'll tell you my story. I wanted to go to Akibara because it's like the weed place in Japan.
Electric City or Electric Town or whatever they call it.
Yeah. So it's It was okay. Very strange. I don't think I'd go back.
If you don't collect figures, you won't like Akabra.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be
I'm a
stuff.
figure collector.
I wanted to find some like JoJo shit, because I'm a big JoJo fan. But
It's not popular.
well, it's kind of popular, but it's like, yeah,
It's
don't know.
whatever's in season with the figurines. I'll explain it later. But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
really
but,
weird.
but anyway, we went there because I wanted to go. Wolf really didn't want to go. Wolf's girlfriend was kind of wanted to go, and we went, and me and Wolf's girlfriend both kind of wanted to see what these maid cafes are like, because I had heard about them, and I thought they were something very. I thought they were just quite literally like a bar or cafe where they were dressed up in the maid outfits.
Yeah.
And that was it. And like they would serve you and they'd leave you to it. And
Oh,
So
how
the
wrong you
Japanese
are.
Hooters.
how
Yeah, I guess it sounds a bit like
yeah.
that.
Japanese Hooters.
how naive I was, because there were so many different types, and we walked into one. We must have walked into the BDSM one, because we walked downstairs and it was a pirate themed one. And we were met by this Japanese girl going, "Yoo-hoo!" And we didn't get a choice. They showed us the thing. They didn't speak any English. We didn't get a choice. There was no, do you want to have this experience? It was, if you eat and drink here, you are having this experience.
Oh yeah, no, that's how it is out there. But we
And
were
it
in the
was-
States.
It was so expensive, but it was the most fucking bizarre experience of my life. It reminded me of a strip club, but with
Right.
all of the, like, you go to a strip club.
Stripping taken out of it.
Yeah, there's no stripping in it. It's like the women are there, and you can just tell when they're kind of like being. You can tell when someone's forced to have a conversation with you because they're like quite false. They're not really feeling it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same like at strip clubs, but at strip clubs, at least you know what you're getting. At this place, we went there, and it's so weird because they're like, "You must call me captain." We're like,
That's great.
We're like, "Oh, okay, captain." All right. And we're looking at the menu, and like they're just trying to start conversation with you. But there was the same situation, Alex, where those guys in there that were clearly regulars. But I guess the idea behind them is that they're just for lonely people, right? Who don't
Yeah.
really have anyone to talk to, because they will just talk to you about anything. So
Right.
you just go there, and
But I still don't quite understand the concept, because when
Wait,
you say
the one I went-
submissive or whatever, you mean that they're just down to talk and they just... I don't get it.
No, the idea is that it is a way to give men, because it's mostly for men. There are female focused maid cafes, but for men, as Bren mentioned, who are like lonely or whatever, it's a way for them to get that experience of like
Of just someone who
being
cares about you
alpha.
talking to you. Right.
Yeah,
What's
being
what's
like
the
an
alpha
alpha,
thing?
right?
I don't get the alpha thing.
no,
What's-
like you're the master. Like you're like, for this moment, this person
you are the man of the house.
is your life. Like this customer that this girl's serving, she is your servant. That's the idea.
Oh, it's a servant kind of thing. It's that submissive. It's like
Yeah,
literally...
it's like that kind of submissive, not submissive in a
Well,
sexual.
No, the
but it's-
place I went to was very much.
But Bren
no,
apparently
it
walked
was
into
the
the fucking
reverse.
Twilight Zone of this shit.
Oh, so
it
you
was the
were...
reverse.
This
The
was
one I
like
went to-
dominant pirates.
Well, yeah, kind of like a dominant pirate, and they would still chat with you.
Right.
And
right.
I was looking through the book of stuff you can get, and you can get like it's
The
like
menu.
Yeah, the menu was like a picture of your favorite captain, and they sign it, and like that, and then it's like you're not allowed to be in the picture though, and no touching.
See,
Boys, no touching.
here's the thing. I kind of like this idea, because
No.
what capitalism is
shouldn't.
so bad at is being able to address human needs. Like, it's good at being able to provide material stuff for people to be happy about, but it's quite bad at incentivizing companies to create solutions for people who are unhappy or lonely or something like that. So I kind of like that there's an attempt at a solution for people who are lonely, because there's no product you can buy that's been driven by the market in the US to try and help your loneliness. You can buy as much as you want, but it ain't gonna
Buy
actually
like one of
help.
those AI boxes.
So you're talking to an AI box. So I like the idea of it, but I don't like at all the idea of somebody being forced to interact in a like
subservient manner.
well, not even that, just being forced to interact in like if someone's not genuine, it doesn't solve the loneliness issue, does it? Like
Well,
you need a
what I
bit
mean.
of
But that's
why-
not the experience that they want. They
Sure.
want to. They want you to have to talk to them.
yeah.
So that's why this experience.
I feel like there's a
Doesn't
nugget of a
work.
good idea in there. There's a nugget of a good idea.
I mean, yeah,
It's a
I
bit
guess
like
so.
it's like super casual therapy, right? It's like super casual role
Yeah.
play friendly therapy.
Yeah.
Which would make sense if it was properly executed, I feel. And maybe it is properly executed within Japanese culture and we just don't understand it very well.
Therapy. There are
But you
different
could
kinds of therapy.
Oh, well, yeah,
Not
no, of
everyone
course
needs
there
to
are.
hear that they're a god. They're the
Well, yeah, that's
master.
true. That's true. No, I don't mean
Well,
the
you
master
could
part of it, though. I just
also-
mean, like, if you could buy a conversation, that would be a good thing. As long as it was a genuine conversation.
You
But
can
you're-
also in the same maid cafe pay $10 for them to slap you, and it came with.
See,
Did you do this?
That's,
I wish
that's
I
the
did that.
nugget of the good idea because we'll open up a place and call it Overwatch time.
Oh yeah, and we'll slap them with belts.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wait,
Uh,
people paid for this?
Yeah, so I didn't see anyone there pay for it, but I got drunk enough in the night that I was telling Wolf we need to go back and record me being slapped.
Yeah, why didn't you do it?
Wolf didn't want to go back. It was so uncomfortable. It was so weird.
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
fair, sometimes you just need to get slapped.
And
I-
Bren sometimes
yeah.
needs to get slapped.
I feel like that's a
just a
very
fact.
yeah, that's a weird one.
Like this is gonna be the dumbest thing I said this entire podcast. But
Go for
I've
it.
never been in a fist fight, right? Like
Yeah.
where I grew up, people did cheap shit. Like they did shit that's not allowed in like UFC fights. Like they went for the balls, for the eyes. You know, they fucking dragged people, hair, and all that kind of shit.
They went
you
for
know, I was
the
never in a fist fight.
eyes.
Yeah,
Jesus, that is brutal.
yeah. So it's a fucked
Living in the
up
land of
place.
savages.
Bua, I tell you.
What the fuck?
Bro,
I've
it's like
never
that
been
in
in a
the hood too.
proper-
It's like that in the hood. Don't
I've never been in a proper fist fight, you know,
Right,
like the
right.
videos you see. And I'm like, at some point in my life, I just want to be in a fist fight.
Nah, I'm good,
Because-
honestly.
No, because it's although it's a shitty experience to fucking get swollen because you've been fucking punched in the fucking nose or something. Like it's obviously shit. But the experience, I'm really growing fond of the idea that you have to experience as much shit as possible in life to grow as a person, for personal growth.
Do you
Like,
think you have to
people
experience
reading
having your
books-
toenails ripped off in order to be a better person?
Wait,
Oh my
no,
god.
You're fucking no. I hate you because you. I can't argue with you. I just think that a lot of people they've dropped wisdom on me in the past and like told me about ideas and theories, but it's so hard to embrace those theories and grow as a person unless you've actually lived it and messed up yourself.
Yeah.
And so
I understand. that.
I feel like I wanna like I'm not pursuing being a fist fight and I'm not looking to fight someone. But if someone's being
That's
a
why
fucking
Johnny's getting.
asshole to
That's
me,
why Johnny's drinking so much. He's determined to get in a fist fight in K-Town.
no, but if someone was being a genuine asshole and just like was looking to fight me, like I wouldn't run away because I'd be like, nah, tonight's the night. Fuck it. Let's see where it goes.
Dude, the bad thing about that though, Johnny, is that people can have knives or guns or all sorts. Like getting in a fist fight is not
You live in
just
America.
getting
Yeah,
in
but
a
the
fist
thing
fight.
is because
you know?
I'm not looking for the fight, I get to pick my opponent. Because I can choose. Do I want to run away from this obviously dangerous person? Do I want to avoid any kinds of like lethal weapons? Is this the kind of person that would have lethal weapons? Or it's just a drunk moron that I could easily just outreach because I'm tall?
So you're
and
looking for a drunk
No,
moron
I'm
to
not
slap
looking.
around.
I'm not looking. I'm telling you, I'm
Johnny's
not
looking for
pursuing
a
this.
Drunk moron to
I'm
slap
not
around in
looking.
LA. If you guys want
But-
to slap him around.
It's particularly bad though as well because you could be deported
That's true,
that's
actually.
true.
in the US. Like,
Yeah.
Why
If you
think
want a
about-
fist fight, why don't you go boxing or
Yeah,
do
yeah,
some
yeah,
jujitsu?
boxing.
Well, jujitsu is
No,
wrestling,
because
isn't it? Not wrestling, but it's like
no, that's
grappling.
like playing mini golf to normal golf.
No, boxing is and actually boxing is a great way to get in shape.
No,
MMA.
yeah, get in shape. No,
Isn't
yeah, for
MMA
sure. Like,
smacking the crap
I wanna
out of
do
people?
martial arts. esports, but it's not the same kind of
No,
like
you want to
adrenaline.
fight someone outside of a bar.
experience.
That's what you want to do. So hey, everyone, if you're in K-Town,
Because that's real life. That's real
go
life.
and fight Jonathan Larson outside in a bar.
No,
Get
no.
drunk. He wants to fight.
You can't
Oh,
miss him.
no.
He's 6'7", towers above everyone. Go.
I'm just
Perfect
saying,
for the
like,
uppercut.
going to like boxing
He's
practice.
wearing a turtleneck. Johnny, I get what you're saying. It's just ridiculous.
Going to a boxing practice is like playing FIFA instead of playing soccer in real life.
No, because you're still getting hit.
Bren,
Johnny.
can you turn on a damn light in your
Yeah, I don't know
feet?
what the fuck's going on with my.
And also, I don't want a concussion from the gloves, like the cushioned boxing gloves.
Yeah, actually, it can be much more dangerous to do boxing against people who are ridiculously powerful because.
And it's not more ridiculous to fight a person outside of a bar in the
Yeah.
middle of the street.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that is
bare-fisted,
ridiculous.
With all the elements that are around you,
Yes,
cars,
that's ridiculous.
a knife.
Yep.
You're in LA,
I
there could
can't-
be a gun.
I can't reiterate enough how I'm not pursuing to fight. I don't want to fight anyone.
Hey, everybody.
But sometimes you just find yourself in a position in life that you didn't expect to find yourself in, and you just kind of had to say, fuck it.
I got into a fight one time.
Did you?
Yeah.
How old
yeah,
were you?
when I was younger. I was a kid. Johnny, that's a lot to unpack there, though. So we're going to just save it for next time. But that's it for us. That's the Foreheads Podcast, Foreheads 2020. Make sure you guys are out there. You subscribe to us on YouTube. You can give us a follow on Spotify. Rate and subscribe on iTunes. Leave a review. We'll read it in the next episode. Make sure it's good, or else Johnny might want to fight you. And that could very well be the reality we live in. Hashtag Foreheads 2020, baby. We're done.
Peace.
Peace.
We are spent.
Bye.